to Cincinnati on Facebook, YouTube.
How you doing? Is this 307?
Yeah. I.S.U.P.K.
Huh?
You looking for I.S.U.P.K?
It's supposed to be, a meeting for labor for education.
Oh, no, you got
Well,
some.
all right, I apologize.
She probably looked at us, was like, who is these niggas here for the department, for the education meeting? Yeah, I think you just made her, you just probably scared her.
I mean, shit, she won't bust there like this.
All right, we good to go?
Come, so.
All right, Shalom, Israel. This is Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, on the command of YAHANNA. My name is Isupk Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? We're here to bring out the truth like we do every week. You know what I mean? This is the I.S.U.P.K Cincinnati class. And, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get it in. So if you're tuning in, you know what I'm saying? If you got a question, post your questions in the chat. We should be live on Facebook and YouTube. You understand? Should be live on Facebook. Let me use this mic. Last time, you know what I'm saying? I was like, Cap was like, yeah, man, we gotta use that mic because you sounded distant. So yeah, if you're tuning in, make sure you subscribe to I.S.U.P.K Cincinnati on Facebook and the I.S.U.P.K Cincinnati on YouTube. So you get notified when these videos coming out, when the class is coming out, when camp speaking is being put on here. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to raise this nation up, one brother, one sister at a time. You know what I'm saying? Brick by brick. That's how you do it. Ain't no magic trick to building a nation. You know, it ain't just gonna happen. Us praying about it. You know what I mean? The scripture said, you know, paraphrasing, the kingdom of heaven coming out with observation. You understand? You can't and wake up the dead. You understand? All right. So let's before we get started with the topic, let's get going on some questions. So you got anything on Facebook, Isaiah?
So like I said, I'm still trying to find you on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second. Let's just double check that before we go too much further. Check out Facebook. Make sure we rocking. We rocking on Facebook.
I don't know why we want to pull it up.
Do I sound distant? Test. Hey, do me a favor. Just step out if you could, and then here, you can just check mine. Step out if you could. I'm gonna say a few things. Just make sure the volume's on the right. Phone. Since it's a new mic, you know what I mean, it ain't got a lot of runs. Just give me a thumbs up if you hear me good from out there. Can you hear me? Test.
I think it could be a little bit low.
A little bit louder. All right. That should be it. I think that's loud as it go right there, so we won't have to rush out with that. All right, throw out. All right. Questions? Isaiah?
Actually, I do have a question.
Let them.
Well, that's more of a comment, I guess. Well, it's a question. Like when we
Question and a comment. Come on.
question and comment. Like when we was at Cincinnati, like my thing is this: why is the most racist people on the face of the planet quick to call the I.S.U.P.K racist with no type of foundation to back it up on?
Right. Now, I mean, that's heavy that you say that, and it's something that, you know what I'm saying, the brothers in the UK we deal with a lot because we out there on the streets, and the sad thing is a lot of the opposition comes from our own people. You know what I mean? We out on the street corner, we telling, Black people to get off drugs, stop aborting your baby, stop throwing away women, you know what I mean? Stop being whores, stop being whoremongers, stop being homosexual. Like, we trying to share all the things of the Bible with our people. And the people that come against us the most are Black people, because we want to separate ourselves from the white man. You understand? And that's the discouraging part about the job. But you know what I'm saying? There's no need to get discouraged, because like Christ said, if they hated him, you know what I'm saying, you know they're gonna hate you. You know they're gonna hate the I.S.U.P.K. Because we're out there telling the truth. You know what I mean? And that's what we do. That's our job. We go out there, we tell the truth, no matter who like it, no matter who want to hear it. You know what I mean? That's just what we do. We go out there and we do what we've been told to do, and that's go out and prophesy to the people. You know what I mean? Once we do that, it's on them whether they take it. You know what I mean? That's on them what they do with it. But our job is to go out there and teach the Bible and raise up the dead. You know what I mean? You know, that is what it is. That as far as the white man saying we racist, the white man has no leg to stand on in regards of racism. You know what I mean? There ain't no way on God's green earth any white man anywhere could call anybody Black, Hispanic, Native American a racist. It's not even possible for us to be racist. You understand? All that we've been through, you know what I mean? By definition, you know, Black people can't be racist. So, and on top of that, if you just look at all the wickedness and evil that this nation has done, or that the nation of Edom has done against us, you know what I'm saying? There's no way we can be racist. And when they see us up there, it's less about racism, more about they seeing a Black man in authority and power and trying to separate, you know what I mean? Because really, if anybody think about it, everybody's racist to some degree, you know what I mean? Whether they acknowledge it or not, everybody's racist. Like, perfect example, you'll ask a Black person, are you racist at all? They're like, no, I love everybody. But you voted for Barack Obama. Just because he was a Black man, you know what I'm saying? Right. Or maybe something even on a smaller scale. The big fight between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Like, how many Black people did you talk to like, yeah, I'm going for Conor? I ain't know not one Black person would be like, I'm going for Conor McGregor. Everybody Black was like, I'm going for Floyd Mayweather, you know what I mean? Right. It's like Black people, and they're going for Floyd for what? Some of them are probably bigger UFC fans than they were boxing fans, you know what I mean? Right. So they reaching, so really they should have been going for Conor McGregor because they're UFC fans, but shit, when it come down to it, whether people want to admit it or not, they racist, you understand? But here's the problem. We on the job, you can see it at the grocery store, you can see it when you need services from them, you can see it everywhere, you understand? It's definitely in their policies here in America. Racism, the white man shows his racism and he shows it everywhere. Well, we Black people, on the other hand, we're afraid, you know what I mean, to show our racism. But if you talk to anybody Black, it's like, oh man, these white people at my job, they be tripping. I can't stand them down there. But really, I thought you loved everybody. Why don't you just forgive them and keep on moving on? You know what I mean? Shouldn't they? Go ahead, you was gonna say something?
Yeah, I had another question.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, even with all the racism that's being flashed around, like for example, you can't get on Facebook without seeing some type of racist white person doing or saying something that's totally horrific to a Black Hispanic community. So even with that being the case, why is it that people are afraid to still unite with the I.S.U.P.K? And even if they don't unite with the I.S.U.P.K, which they should, of course, right, but just admit the fact that the white man is the devil, we need to separate from the white man. Right. Like, why is that so hard for people to do, even in 2019, right, with racism so blatant? Right.
Well, you know that Black people, it's proven that Black people in America have Stockholm syndrome. Right. I mean, that's proven. That was done by some psychiatrists and psychologists. I don't know the difference. I looked it up one time, but I can't remember. It was proven that we have Stockholm syndrome. You talk to the average Black person, not only Stockholm syndrome, but PTSD. Like, we suffer from a lot of things that, it prevents us from clearly seeing who the enemy is, you understand? Right. it's just one of the things that, like, same thing like they brought out with the Stockholm syndrome. If it comes to the point where a woman who's been kidnapped, trapped, raped, maybe beaten, she develops a sense of almost love for her captor. You know what I mean? To the point where, like, she might have an opportunity to break away, and she might be like, well, you know what I'm saying? I'm here now. I've been here a year, 2 years, 3 years. I don't think I'm going anywhere. It's like that whole love for your oppressor. You know what I mean? That's what we got in America. And that's proven, you know what I mean? That wasn't done by, that was done by a white person. You know what I'm saying? We ain't just saying that the I.S.U.P.K did, but that was somebody looked at black people in America, looked at the conditions, saw that we was oppressed, and saw that the love that we was continuing to give to the so-called white man, it was like, man, these people have Stockholm syndrome.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the root of the whole issue. But what we don't understand is that we gotta know who our enemy is. Matter of fact, let's get that. Find that scripture where it says the man of sin must be revealed.
Okay.
The fallen away first. Should be 2 Thessalonians 2:1. Actually, 2 and you can probably start at 2 and 3. Let me get there.
Second Thessalonians 2 and 3.
Go ahead.
Let no man deceive you.
What?
Let no man deceive you.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3 says, let no man deceive you. Don't let your Christian pastor deceive you. Don't let your black leadership, the Black Caucus, the Rainbow Push Coalition, you know what I mean, the NAACP, your grandmama, your mama, don't let nobody deceive you about what we about to read. Go ahead.
Let no man deceive you by any means.
By nothing, by no matter what, by nothing, don't matter what they say. With money, don't let them deceive you. With soft talk, don't let them deceive you. With future promises of something good, no. Go ahead.
For that day shall not come.
For what day shall not come?
Except.
Hold on. For what day shall not come?
For the day that all the smooth words that they've been telling you come to pass. For white people to actually love you.
Well, that's part of it. For a little bit more, right? So yeah, we waiting for white people to love us, right? But what day is the scripture referring to specifically? The day of judgment. That's right. The day of judgment. You understand? Go ahead.
For that day shall not come, except there come of a falling away first.
Unless there come what?
A falling away first.
What is it? Falling away. What does that mean?
Basically, in this term, I believe it's like war. Read
a little bit more, maybe that help you. Go ahead, you can read. And the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Like the scripture is saying, basically, this man has to be revealed. A falling away first is like he has to fall from grace. You know what I mean? Like it's our job to come out here and say, our people are currently deceived, like the scripture is saying. But it's saying, don't be deceived by any man or by any means, by any soft talking, smooth talking, alligator shoe wearing Christian pastor. Nobody. Like this, for the day of judgment to come for Israel to be saved, it has to be a falling away first. And that man of perdition has to be revealed. Something happened to the Facebook?
We should be have questions.
Look up perdition. The son of perdition. Just perdition though. We get the full breakdown on that. That's what a lot of people who see us out on the streets, they don't understand that we have to come out here and do this in order for salvation to come, for us to move past this love of the white man, like you said, in order for us to progress, like it has to be a falling away first. You understand? It has to be a falling away first, and this man of sin has to be revealed. Everybody know, like, it's very simple who the man of sin is. Like, how many people, who are the people that make decisions on the face of the earth, right? As a nation, the white man makes the decisions. He controls other countries, he controls America, he controls Europe, Australia, Russia, you know what I mean? The white man is everywhere and has power to do what he wants on this earth right now. He is the man of sin. He is the man that sent the children of Israel into captivity, kicked them out of their land, slaughtered us, destroyed us, made us lose our inheritance. That is the man of sin.
Right.
You understand? You got prediction?
Come.
Go ahead.
A state of internal punishment and damnation of
Perdition.
symptoms, damnation, eternal punishment, hellfire, spiritual desecration, doom, ruin, destruction, downfall. That's it.
Okay. Now I think, because I heard the breakdown on it, but I forget. I think it's really like. Hold on one second. I'm gonna check one more source real quick because I want to make sure we get that definition correct.
Yeah, that definition that I gave you at the beginning, it said in Christian theology.
It's just the wicked, you know what I'm saying? The wicked, the son of the wicked, essentially. You can lump it all in that, you know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it in a nutshell as to, you know what I mean? Now, obviously, it's not only Stockholm Syndrome, but we at a point where we depend on the white man, you know what I mean? So there's automatically a fear, you know what I mean, that he might take away what we have, right? So anybody it's just like, we like children in this nation, you know what I'm saying? Your parent come in the room, you didn't do your homework, you know what I mean? What they gonna do? They're gonna take away all your Xbox, your iPhones and iPads and all that, you know what I'm saying? White man at any given point, at any given time, like we're seeing in this government shutdown, he can take away food stamps, he can take away Section 8, he can take away, you know what I'm saying, healthcare, whatever he want to do. You know what I mean? He can say, oh, these food stamps is blowing the budget. He got a budget for $100 gazillion. And, you know what I'm saying? The food program is, you know what I'm saying, 1% of that. And that's just destroying his whole budget. So what did he do? You know what I mean? He seeks to put you further and further. So that right there automatically puts, you know what I'm saying, Black people in a position to where like they're afraid to do anything or say anything against the white man. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
So just like what you just to touch base on what you were saying, it's so heavy, like you said, he take away everything, like he took away Black education, anything, Black benefits, you name it.
right.
And he take away your life if you say too much.
Right. Mm-hmm. How do you know from the scriptures that we depended on him?
You will go, the precept, you will go and warn the name for him for all things. I'm paraphrasing, like water, food.
Where is that?
I believe it's in Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy, where?
16,
28 and what?
28.
Let's get that. I think it's 28 and 48, maybe 28 and 50.
I was thinking Deuteronomy 16. It said Deuteronomy 28 and
I think it's 48, but it might be 50.
it's 48, sir.
Okay.
Deuteronomy 28 and 48.
Hold on, let me get that with you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, we're coming. Deuteronomy 28:48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord
Will serve who?
thy enemies.
Thine enemies, right? So a lot of people that we talk to out on the streets, what do they say? They say, black people do evil against black people,
Yeah.
or they say, the white man, you gotta love your neighbor. You know what I mean? That's one of the main ones that they pull out. You gotta love your neighbor. You know what I mean? Not knowing that your neighbor is another Israelite. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Yeah, and another thing that shows you deep down that these so-called Christians actually know the white man is your enemy, because that's the first thing they want to say. You're supposed to love your enemies.
Right.
So you're acknowledging that the white man is our enemy.
Right.
But in the same breath, you want to love him.
Right.
But you don't want to love that brother that black brother on the corner that's homeless and starving and need your help. You don't want to love him.
That's
But
absolutely
you
true.
want to love the people that's killing.
Right. That's absolutely true. You know what I mean? They'll say love, you know what I'm saying? Love your neighbor, but they acknowledge that he is our enemy. You understand?
Right.
But go ahead, keep on.
Come. Therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies,
Mm-hmm.
which the Lord shall send against thee.
Mm-hmm. They were sent against us, you understand? They were sent against us for our sin. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
And hunger.
And what?
And hunger.
You said it earlier, like we gotta go to the white man, like very few black people, Hispanic people, Native Americans could sustain themselves totally off what they produce. Food-wise, you know what I mean? There might be some sprinkled here and there. You know what I mean? It's super rich. They might have land where they can farm it, but the majority of your Israelites, if the white man pull away his food, we gonna starve. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not in the UK because we're not worried about that.
Right.
But everybody else, you know what I mean? The white man has us in such a bind right now. It's like we got to go to him for food. You gonna say something?
So like you said, from wood. And the further elaborate what you're saying, like you said, you put away the grocery stores, you're gonna starve.
Oh yeah.
But then you put so many regulations on you farming for yourself.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't go a tomato patch with this.
And that's by design. You understand? That's by design. Once I didn't know because I had never seen it. I guess I always lived in states where it was legal, but I learned when I was in the school, like in some states you can't collect rainwater.
Right.
I'm like, damn, that's wicked as hell. You get a fine. Imagine you collecting rainwater and you just, I don't know, you want to, maybe set up some kind of filtration process. You can't do that. Not in some states. You're going to get fined. You know what I mean? And I guess if you do it enough, you might actually go to jail. You know what I mean? So that right there, you have to go ahead, read some more.
And thirst.
And thirst, the same thing we just talking about with the water. Food and water, which is essential for life, you understand? He's basically holding our lives in his hand. Go ahead.
And in nakedness.
You need clothes. You know what I mean? Like I said, again, here's another thing. Like, we don't own one thing that would be monumental in the hood if every ghetto had a textile plant.
Right.
You know what I mean? Can you imagine that? That if every black neighborhood had a textile plant and we got all our own cotton and we made our own,
right.
You know what I mean? We had all our own, we make all our own clothes. Even if it wasn't top of the line designer fashion, like if we could just make our own blue jeans. Can you imagine that?
Right.
Everybody in the hood got the same blue jeans. You know what I'm saying? But it's ours. Everybody is making money. Like the person who sells it, the person who's selling the cotton, they hire black people, Hispanic people, Native Americans to do the cotton farm, right? The shipping, you got black people with trucks, they ship.
Right.
You know what I mean? The black people who come in and work in the textile factory, like they getting paid for that. Designers, you got close people who, like anything we want to do, we can do it here in the black community. We don't need, like, imagine you sitting in a room, you know what I mean? It's like somebody coming to you like, yeah, we need to design a new pair of jeans. Everybody in the hood, you know what I'm saying? You know we got limited resources, but we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to design a new pair of jeans. Ain't going to be none of them skinny joints that these cats wear, you know what I'm saying? He's going to say something.
Kind of so like what you're saying is such a good point.
Right.
Like, but the thing is, like, they don't have any problem with throwing a black logo or a black name attached to some stuff that the white man is producing. Prime example, Jordans. You know what I'm saying? Like the white man basically owns the whole Jordan logo.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Jordan get his cut, don't get me wrong,
Right.
but the white man knows that Jordan,
Oh, yeah.
Jordan is in tonight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But in the same breath, like our black designers just give the logo to the white man. And then you got these white designers telling you flat out to your face that I don't want black people wearing my name there. So, you know what I'm saying? They cause hell in hot water about the black man wearing Tommy Hilfiger or whatever that homosexual designer name was. They used to bring out them homosexual shirts.
Right.
No, that's another one. Like, what is it, Versace? I don't want to say
Oh, yeah,
Versace.
yeah.
Is that it? The Rock used to wear his shit?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, the homosexual said that you don't want black people wearing this stuff. I mean, not what we say, but in the same breath, black people in the industry, that's the number one thing they want to do is buy them white clothes instead of putting their money together and, like you said, open up a black designer business.
Right.
And promote
One
it.
second. No, sure. Alright, we good to go.
Like opening up that black business and, like you said, making it so everything touches black hands. But the white man does it, the Korean man does it, the African man does it.
Right.
Every other nation of people understand it does it.
No, that's right. All right, let's get the rest of that. Any more on that?
Come. And then want.
Like I said, there's little stuff here and there that we got. You know what I mean? That's why I love the school. You know what I'm saying? In the I.S.U.P.K, if you look on Facebook, what you see, you got sisters that come up with laundry products. You got brothers that's making shirts and cups, and you know what I'm saying? Brothers with their own businesses. That's what we all should be striving for, man, to separate ourselves as much as possible. Like here in captivity, it's gonna be tough to totally separate from the white man, but the more we can do it, the more we get into the white spirit of loving each other, doing business with each other like we used to do. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon their neck.
That's history right there. Like if you tune it in and you watch this later at some point. What you're reading right now, the Bible is the most accurate book on the face of the planet. You know what I'm saying? Like this is history. How was this in Deuteronomy thousands of years ago? You understand? This was thousands of years ago. Moses prophesied that we was gonna have a yoke of iron around our neck. That's heavy right there. Once you just look at some of the minor things in the scriptures, like when I read that in the world, which I'm sure I read it in the world, you know, probably a couple times. I read the Bible. There's all kind of things in the Bible that I read. But now you read it in the truth, you're like, damn, that's a yoke of iron. That's history. We had yokes of iron around our neck in slavery. And Moses knew it thousands of years ago. You understand?
Right.
Go ahead.
Until he have destroyed thee.
And we destroyed. We so destroyed in this country that we don't understand, like you was bringing out earlier with your original comment, like black people don't understand that we fighting for them.
Right.
We fighting so you can get some of your damn dignity back and stop being such a damn slave to the white man.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? All right, let's drop that. You got any other questions?
Well, sir.
All right, well, let's go. We're gonna go ahead. Take me to Genesis 39. You know what I mean? This is one of my favorite stories in the Bible, and we might have to break it up in two classes, but I'm gonna get into Joseph. You know what I mean? Because I just love that story. It's such a powerful story. You know what I'm saying? Genesis 39:1. Yeah. So we're gonna cover Joseph and his story, his whole, you know what I'm saying, rise to glory and everything. So let's start. I think Genesis. No, we want to start at Salaki. We want to start at 1 second. Let's start at Genesis 37.
Okay. Genesis 37:1.
Yep, Genesis 37:1.
Okay. Genesis 37:1. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger.
His father was what?
Was a stranger. in the land of Canaan.
Right, go ahead.
Verse 2. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brother,
Uh-huh.
and the lad was with his son Bilhah, and with his son Zilpah,
Zilpah.
and his father's wives.
Mm-hmm.
And Joseph brought unto his father to their evil report.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now Israel loved Joseph.
No.
Now Israel loved Joseph.
We know Israel is Jacob.
Okay. More than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors.
It's so heavy. You know what I mean? It's like, people read this and it's just like, wow, he had a favorite son. He didn't treat everybody he made the same. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, let me clue you in on something. Israel, like, people are allowed to have favorites.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was his prerogative. You know what I mean? It didn't say nothing in there how he hated his other ones, and just said, you know, Joseph was his favorite. You know what I mean? Just like the children of Israel. We are the Most High's favorite, not the white man, not the Arab, not the stinking Africans. You know what I mean? None of that. It's the nation, the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel.
Right.
Go ahead.
And that's such a heavy point that you're breaking out. When we you know, break out the truth like that, how we're the Most High's favorite, which is hypocritical, hypocritical of a lot of people, because like people in the world have their favorites too. They have their favorite people that like to hang around.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when we tell you that God has a favorite, you just, no, God is all love and he loves everybody equally. But you never show me that scripture or anywhere in the Bible.
You know, I would say most people, there's some people that don't believe in the Bible in general, but most people who come up against us, they don't read the Bible.
Right.
Like, some people, they don't believe it at all, so they're not going to read it, right? So they just, you know, they're what you call atheists, or claim to be that they don't believe until they get into a shootout and you like pray for God. Right. But a lot of people, they come up against us because they are lazy and they don't read the Bible. I mean, if you read the Bible, you understand, even if you don't agree with our breakdowns, right? Even if you say y'all doctrine is y'all all off, like, some of the scriptures in there you can't debate. Like, Israel is my firstborn. Israel is my nation of people. You know what I mean? Or Israel shall be saved. Like, okay, at some point you gotta start asking yourself, okay, maybe it's not the same now, but it was at one point. Even if you don't believe, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, you don't follow our doctrine. It's all throughout the Old Testament. It's all in the New Testament. So you gotta start asking, well, damn, let me see if I can, like many of them do. So, right? So then you go from the ones who don't read it all to the ones who think that they study a little bit. And they're like, oh, well, the New Testament is spiritual Israel. You know what I'm saying? And then they start saying everybody. So you got basically, you know what I'm saying, a group of folks in different buckets. You know what I'm saying? These folks up here, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They just come to church on Sunday, they read nothing, and they just say God is all love, and that's them. And you got these other folks that come up against us that think they know it was something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they pull out 1 or 2 scriptures. John 3:16 obviously is one of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? But hey, he has a favorite, and we are.
Right. So, like, if I will say real quick, which is a heavy point that you just brought up, because that's what they wrote in scriptures, like 5 scriptures to make them feel good. You understand? Like, and that's one thing that I understood about the truth when I first came into the truth. It's a difference between feeling good and being good.
Yeah, feeling good.
You know what I'm saying? You can feel good as you want to. You know what I'm saying? But 9 times out of 10, because you're feeling good, you're doing all of the things that are around, based around sin. Right. You understand? And one of the things, like, as a Christian in the world, that John 3:16, because you never knew about that one scripture when it says, and Israel shall be saved, a world without end. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen a Christian church go anywhere near that. Right. You know what I'm saying? They act like that ain't even in the Bible. And when you break it down to most Christians, they hear that for the first time in street speakings. Right. verse 4, Genesis 37:4. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him.
But what did Joseph do? Did Joseph do anything? Joseph didn't do nothing, man. He was just being him. You know what I mean? It's like it really do happen a lot. You know what I mean? It's like you know what I mean? Just you can look at, you know, around the hood, like usually the youngest kid, you know what I mean? They kind of get the most stuff. They get spoiled more. I mean, because like the scripture say, he was a child of his old age. Your parents have a kid, you know what I mean, at 40 and 50, they're not going to be as hard as they was on that kid than it was on you. Right. One, because they ain't got the energy, and two, they can learn different parenting skills. You know what I mean? So like, all the stuff that they did, and maybe you was just more hard-headed. Maybe you was just a badass kid. And didn't listen to your parents, you understand? Because I know, I used to look at my little brother, my younger brother, you know what I mean? Like, damn, you get everything. You go to the store and just thought he was spoiled. It's just, you know what I'm saying? My father had more time for him. He didn't work as much, you know what I mean? He slowed down, and he was a child of his older age, you know what I mean? So it was just easier to raise him. And then he had, us, if he needed a babysitter. It was just, you know what I'm saying? It's just different when you have a child when you're a little bit older. And that's how Joseph felt about him. He loved him, you know what I'm saying? That was his child, like I said, it was a child of his old age. So he had a lot of love for him. But Joseph didn't do nothing. He said his brothers, they couldn't even speak peaceably unto him. Like, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? They probably called him all kind of names. So no brotherhood at all. Go ahead.
Okay. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brother.
So listen, this ain't no Martin Luther King. You know what I mean? This is a vision. You know what I mean? What you learn about Joseph as we go in, get more into the story. Joseph was actually a brother who got visions from the Most High.
Right.
Go ahead.
And they hated him yet the more.
And they what?
And they hated him, and they hated him yet the more.
Go ahead.
And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright.
If I'm not mistaken, that's weak. Let's see if we can find sheaf.
Okay.
Look up that definition. If I'm not mistaken, that's weak, but I could be wrong. Just because I don't know a lot about that farming. Yeah. You got it? I'll let you read it when you got it. Sheaf, S-H-E-A-F.
Sheaf, a bundle of grain stalks.
A bundle of grain stalks. All right, so we know that they were in the field, and more than likely it was wheat. Go ahead.
And also stood upright, and behold, our sheaves stood around about and made obedience.
And made what? I could never say this word too. Obeisance.
Obeisance to myself, to my sheep.
So you get the vision. He's saying that. Read it again from verse 7.
Okay. For behold, we were building sheaves.
Binding.
We were binding sheaves.
So imagine, brothers in the field, and they tying together sheaves of wheat, so they can pull it out. And he said they was in the field. Go ahead.
And lo, my sheaf arose.
So his sheaf actually stood up. Go ahead.
And stood upright. And behold, our sheaf stood around about and made.
So all the sheaves stood up round about. Right. So this is his vision. Go ahead.
And made obeisance to my sheep.
And I think that just means like paid homage almost. Look that up, that word up right there.
Okay.
Read it when you got it.
Okay. Compliance with order, request of law, or submission to another's authority.
Or what?
Or submission to another's authority.
Submission to another's authority, right? So that's what the other chiefs did to his chief. And this is the vision he had. Go ahead, go to verse 8.
Okay. Verse 8. And his brother said unto him, shalt thou indeed reign over us?
Shall what?
Shalt thou indeed reign over us?
Mm-hmm.
Or shalt thou indeed have domination over us?
Dominion.
So like dominion over us?
So now his brother, like, granted, realized what, you know what I'm saying? He was the young brother, you know what I mean? There was a brother, Benjamin, who's obviously going to be younger than him. But he was the, you know what I'm saying, the youngest brother, you know what I mean? Next to Benjamin. So they asked him, like, hey, you gonna have this vision? What we gonna serve you? You know what I mean? So, I mean, really, if you're not in the spirit, like, you know, if you're not dealing with men of God, somebody tell you that, you gonna look at your little brother like, shut up, nigga. Like, you ain't gonna do nothing, bye. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna backhand him. But Joseph knew, you know what I'm saying? This vision was from the Lord. This wasn't something that he was just saying to be, you know what I mean? He wasn't just saying this to be cocky or arrogant and say, you know, I'm gonna blow up. It wasn't in that wasn't the spirit behind it. You know what I mean? The spirit behind it was, this was actually a vision from the Lord. You know what I mean? Without malice, he had this vision and he told his brothers. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? He had to tell them because all this had to happen. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, it didn't have to happen that way, but it was gonna come a point where he had to be over them, and this just set the events in motion for it to happen.
Right.
Go ahead.
And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words.
Right. So they hated the dream, and they hated that he said, told them what the dream was about.
Right.
Keep going.
And he dreamed yet another dream and told it to his brothers.
Uh-huh.
And said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and even the stars made.
And the what?
And even the stars made.
Read that part again.
And 11 stars made.
11 stars.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Made obscenes to me.
Which we know is basically, you know what I mean,
Submitted
to his authority. So he's having a different vision, but it's just like the previous vision. You know what I mean? It's like in this example, you know, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars, meaning his father, his brothers, you know what I mean, all of them was gonna, you know what I mean, bow down to him essentially in authority and submission.
Come.
Go ahead.
Verse 10. And he told it to his father and to his brother, and his father rebuked him.
And his father what?
Rebuked him.
His father didn't understand, you know what I mean, at the time. His father, even though, you know what I'm saying, Jacob being a man of the Most High, he didn't understand that because, you know, when is it ever, you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't saying this in the sense that, you know what I'm saying, you go down report to me, like, you know what I'm saying, like you're a trooper now. He was just saying, it's gonna come a time where you all have to come to me and I'm gonna be making the decisions.
Right.
Not that he was trying to get, you know what I'm saying, authority over his father. He just knew that the Lord showed him that he was gonna be in a position of authority over his brothers, over his father, you know what I mean?
Right.
Go ahead.
And said unto him, what is this dream thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brothers indeed come and bow down ourselves to thee to the earth?
Mm-hmm. So his father saying, are we gonna come and, you know, bow down to you? You know what I mean? You the youngest. Go ahead.
And his brothers
envied
him, but his father observed the same.
His father pondered on that. Like he didn't, okay, that's just like if some nigga in the world come tell you something, you like, you look at him like, yeah, nah, nigga. If he come to you and be like, yo, I'm gonna be the next president, like, you know he full of crap, you know what I'm saying? You already know because you know what kind of nigga he is. He just murdered somebody last week, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be president, but a man of the Lord, you know what I'm saying? A brother from the I.S.U.P.K, you know what I'm saying? One of the generals gonna tell me something, I'm like, oh, that's heavy. This is the kind of moment that his father had. His father was like, yo, he not, you know what I'm saying? He not just this nigga that murked somebody last week. The Spirit of the Lord is on him. And his father, he said his father what?
Observed.
His father observed that saying. I mean, he recognized it, you know what I'm saying? He took heed to it. He understood it. He was like, okay, go ahead.
And his brother went to feed their father's flock in Shechem.
Mm-hmm.
And Israel said unto Jacob,
Joseph.
Salaki. And Israel said unto Joseph, do not thou, brother, feed the flock in Shechem?
Shechem.
Mm-hmm. Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, here I am.
So basically saying your brothers is out feeding the flock, you go with them and help feed.
Right. Verse 14. And he said to him, go and pay ye, see whether it to be well with thy brother, and will with the flocks.
Mm-hmm. Just go check on your brothers, you know what I mean? Make sure they don't need nothing.
To the vale of Hebron.
Mm-hmm.
And he came to Shechem.
Go ahead.
15. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And a man asked him, saying, what seekest thou?
Right. So just ran into a man, and the man was like, you know, what you looking for?
And he said, I seek my brother. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks.
Mm-hmm.
And the man said, they are departed hence. For I heard them say, let us go to Dothan.
Mm-hmm.
And Joseph went after his brother and found them in Dothan.
Right. So he went to the spot where they were supposed to be. He didn't see them. He saw a man that he didn't know, and the man told him, you know what I mean? They're not in the spot. He heard them talking. They was going down the Dothan. Right. So now they're taking the flock down the Dothan. Go ahead.
And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him.
They did what?
They conspired.
They saw him coming. It's like, look at this little nigga. Don't tell us we're gonna be bowing down to him. And they started conspiring against their brother, you know what I mean, which is wicked and evil, you know what I mean, and against the scriptures, you know what I mean. That's premeditated. You know what I mean? They looking at this brother like, I hate him. Everybody's standing around thinking the same thing. I hate this little nigga. Go ahead.
And conspired against him to slay him.
To what?
To slay him.
Like they was gonna kill their own brother, you know. And this not from, okay, it'd be one thing, you can make a case for it if your brother shot at you, or if your brother stabbed you,
right.
Or if you know what I'm saying, your brother slept with your woman, you know, I can see you might be ready to murder him, but all he did was tell about a vision that he had. He was already the favorite. They hated his guts. That was even more reason. They said, we're gonna kill this little nigga. Go ahead.
And they said one to another, behold, this dreamer cometh.
They said, here comes the dreamer. I got a dream for him. This dreamer coming. Go ahead.
Come now, therefore, and let us slay him and cast him into some pit. And we will say, some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams.
They said, all right, we gonna slay him, and we're gonna throw him in a pit, and then we're gonna tell our father that he was devoured by evil beasts.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he was like, then we'll see what this dreamer dreams, what he got to say then. What's gonna come over his dreams then? You know what I mean? Like I said, which is wicked and evil, and it was, you know what I'm saying, it was obviously wrong of them to think this way about their brother and to do this, you know what I'm saying, to do anything against their brother. Go ahead.
And Reuben heard it.
And Reuben, who is Reuben? Yeah, obviously.
Trump, yeah.
Which tribe?
Reuben will be,
You can cheat.
Reuben will be the tribe of,
Reuben is the Seminole Indians.
Potawatami.
You know what I mean? That's if you remember, that's why all the brothers, you know what I mean, make sure y'all getting these books that's on the I.S.U.P.K website, you know what I mean? Reubenites, that 12 lost tribes in the promised land. The Reubens, you know, when the conquistadors came, you know, when they told them that they was, you know, that they were from the tribe of Reuben. You know what I mean? So there's more proof when people say that, you know what I'm saying, the Native Americans, they not part of the 12 tribes. They told, who was it? I think it was Montezuma or somebody, one of the travelers that came.
Folks, this is really rude, but I was in this room earlier. Is there a glove in the here? Ah, bless you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Man, that was just blessed us. And we don't want that blessing. I saw you stand up, you about ready to crack his head and come here. I was like, hold on. I was about to say, oh, you good. Let's see what the devil got his name. That's funny. He got his glove, so we good. Oh yeah. So just as a side note, you know what I mean, the tribe of Reuben, they actually told you know what I'm saying, the Spanish travelers that they were the tribe of Reuben. That's all these fake Israelite groups who don't want to include the Native Americans and Hispanics. I mean, lost tribes in the promised land. If you get that book, you can find proof. You know what I mean? Let's keep going.
Come. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands.
So Reuben is the firstborn. You know what I mean? A lot of times, not all the time, but you know what I mean, the older you are, you're the firstborn, you're a little bit wiser. So Reuben is like, hold on, brothers, we bugging out. Go ahead and read that part again.
Okay. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands and said, let us not kill him.
Reuben kind of came to some of his senses. He didn't come to all of them, but he was like, man, we can't kill our own brother. You know what I mean? That we can't do that.
Right.
Go ahead.
And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he may rid him out of their hands and deliver him to his father again.
Right. So he's saying, let's not kill him, which you know what I'm saying is a step up, but let's throw him in his pit. I mean, it wasn't too much better. You know what I mean?
Right.
He said, we're gonna throw him in his pit and we're gonna leave him. All right. Go to 23.
Okay. And it came to pass when Joseph was come unto his brethren.
Right, so they was talking about all this before he got there, and then Joseph actually arrived in verse 23, and what happened?
That they stripped Joseph out of his coat.
That coat of many colors, and you got to think about, you know what I mean, when we first started reading in 37, how Joseph was the favorite, and his father gave him a coat of many colors. Like you couldn't just create colors so easily. You know what I mean? Without, like today, we got all this technology, you know what I mean, in the textile industries with, you know, dyeing and, you know, changing fabrics, different colors. It wasn't as easy back in the day. You know what I mean? I don't even know what they use. I read something when I was a slave, how they had to get certain plants and they created dye out of plants. Like, it's a long process, you know what I mean? So I imagine during biblical times, it might have even been longer. But anyway, he gave him a coat, you know what I mean? Not let alone, you know what I'm saying, to make clothes, you know what I mean? All that was handmade. It wasn't no sewing machines, you know what I'm saying? So his father, they said one of the first things he said is they stripped that coat off him. That coat of many colors.
Right.
Go ahead.
They stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors
Mm-hmm.
that was on him, and they took him and cast him into the pit. The pit was empty, there was no water in it.
Right, so they wouldn't look into, drown him, they just wanted to throw him in the pit where he couldn't get out of it.
Right.
Go ahead.
And they sat down to eat bread.
Well, look at these niggas, boy, ain't that something? Throw their brother in the pit and they gonna sit down and have lunch.
Right.
Go ahead.
And they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites
Arabs.
came from Gilead,
Gilead.
with their camels bearing spicery and wine
Balm.
and balm and myrrh, going to carry down to Egypt.
Right, so a lot of times when you look at, these other nations, like they would have, they would trade.
Right.
They'd have ports and, this country would bring in wood, or this country would just be in the desert. So they had to go, they got spices, certain spices didn't grow.
Right.
But that was one of how people made money, obviously, was, through trade.
So this was just a caravan of traders.
Caravan of traders.
Okay. And Judah said unto his brothers, what profit is it for we, Salaki? What profit is it if we slay our brothers and conceal his blood?
Judah is saying, we need to get paid off this. You see how Judah antennas went up. He was like, I see a way for us to get paid. You know what I mean? We could just kill him, or we could just leave him in this pit. But I got a better idea.
Right.
Good.
Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites.
Right? So the Ishmaelites, they are already, a caravan of traders. He was like, let's sell them to him.
And let not our hands be upon him.
Right? So that's a way for them to feel somewhat innocent. We didn't kill him. We didn't touch him. We just gonna trade him, and then whatever happened to him, that's what happened.
For he is our brother and our flesh, and his brothers were content.
So they were happy about that plan, essentially. Go ahead.
So this is like the first slave, like black selling blacks into slavery.
I don't think you could say that, but I don't think you can say that.
Okay. But this is a case of it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. This is probably a Christian breakdown. See why I do business with the white man?
Yeah. That's crazy. Go ahead.
Verse 28. So
Yeah.
then there passed by
Midianites.
merchman.
Merchant man.
And they lifted up Joseph out of the pit.
They drew him,
they drew and lifted up.
They got paid off of it.
Right.
Go ahead.
And they brought Joseph onto Egypt.
Go ahead.
And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes.
So Reuben had stepped away for a minute, and when he went to look at him in the pit, that's when he went away, Judah stepped up and was like, let's just get paid off this. So Reuben now comes back, and he looked down in the pit, and he don't see his brother. So he rent his clothes, meaning that was a tradition of Israelites. When you got, when you were in despair or sad, or somebody died, you would rent your clothes, you would carry clothes.
Right.
Go ahead.
And whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat and killed the kid, so he killed a kid of goats, and dipped the coat in the blood.
Right, so now they're getting their story together. They putting the plan in place. They already gonna make it look like Joseph was killed by wild beasts.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. And they sent the coat of many colors And they brought it to their father
Uh-huh.
and said, this have we found. Now, know now whether to be thy son's coat or no.
Right? So they're saying, look, is this Joseph's coat?
Right. And he knew it and said, this is my son's coat.
Right.
And evil beasts have devoured them. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces.
All right, so he said, man, this is my son's coat, and it's got blood all over it. He ain't no doubt he been torn to pieces by whatever got him. Right? So Jacob is in despair, right? Go ahead.
Right. And Jacob rent his clothes and put sackcloth onto his loins and mourned for his son many days.
Right, so like I said, that was the tradition of the Israelites. You know, I even read a scripture where they would put dirt on our heads, we would rent our clothes, put on sackcloth, just, you know what I mean, and just be like totally just like in despair and, you know, sad, just, you know, like I said, he mourned for, you know, for several days.
Okay. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, for I will go down unto the grave unto my son's mourning. Thus his father wept for him.
So he said, I'm gonna mourn until I go into my grave for my son. He loved him, you know what I mean?
Right.
Go ahead.
And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's and a captain of the guard.
All right. So now we're about to get into the meat and potatoes, you know what I mean? Like that. I like I said, this is one of my favorite stories just because, you know what I'm saying, everybody like to see somebody you know, start from the bottom and then come up. You know, I mean,
Right.
this is black people, we love stories like that. You know, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we like Scarface so much. Even though Al Pacino is not a damn Israelite, you know what I'm saying? But just the whole story, and even though it's like a wicked story, he's a drug dealer, but like that whole, I think the spirit behind it, you know what I mean? It's just like you like to see people, because a lot of black people that you know, they start from the bottom.
Right.
That's another reason why we hold these stars in such high esteem, you know what I mean? A lot of them start from the ghetto, you know what I mean? They start from the ghetto, they start with nothing, and then they make it, and you're like, man, that nigga did worse, and that's good. The thing that we gotta tack on to that though, is start looking at these stars like, okay, you made it, you know what I'm saying? You got there, what now are you gonna do to help the black community? You know, that's how we should look at that. Like the scripture said, the rich is supposed to take care of the poor.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's scriptures in the Bible, you know what I mean, where the rich, you're supposed to do so much, you know what I mean? Just like the scripture in the law where, like, okay, say for instance, you were rich and you had a large vineyard, right? Like you couldn't glean the corners of your vineyard, meaning you couldn't pick all of the grapes from your vineyard, or all the, you know, you couldn't get all the wheat. Like somebody who was poor, they could come by and pick those grapes, so they could gather some wheat or gather some corn. You know what I mean? So they had something to eat. That's how one way the poor would never go hungry in Israel. You could always go to somebody's vineyard and pick the corners. You know what I mean? With the white man, you stop and get one piece of corn off a white person's lawn, you're gonna get shot.
Right.
You understand? That's how we gotta start looking at the stars. Like if we had the spirit, if we all follow this Bible, if we all join the ranks of the Y.A.H.K, we would know these things. And the rich among us would be willing to do more for the poor among us.
Yeah, right.
You was gonna say something?
Well, sir, it's okay.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 28.
Actually, okay, so chapter 38 is gonna get a little bit into Judah. So let's skip to 39.
Okay.
So we're gonna skip to 39 and we're gonna pick up more about Joseph.
Genesis 39:1.
Uh-huh.
And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, the Egyptian.
Right.
Right.
So Potiphar was a high-ranking official of the Pharaoh. You understand?
Okay.
Said he was the captain of the guard. So that's Like when you the captain of the guard, you literally guard, you know what I'm saying, the man in charge, who's the Pharaoh. So if you're the captain, you like the next to the man, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. Brought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites.
Right. So Potiphar bought a slave, you know what I mean? Egypt is famous for having slaves. So go ahead.
Which had brought him down thither. And the Lord was with Joseph.
The what?
And the Lord was with Joseph.
That's so heavy right there because like those visions, like I said earlier, those visions didn't just come out of nowhere, right? It ain't like a nigga that you know, like I said, the example I used earlier is like, yeah, I just murdered 2 people, but I'm gonna be president next week. You're not gonna listen to somebody like that. But Joseph, the Most High was with Joseph, you understand? Go ahead.
Okay. And he was a
Prosperous
man, and he was in the house of the master of the Egyptian.
His master.
So his master, the Egyptian.
Right, it says he was prosperous. So even as a slave, like all that he touched, all that he did, he was prosperous.
Right.
You understand? Go ahead.
So and for the people listening, does that sound familiar, black man, black woman, Hispanic man, Hispanic woman? Everything you touch turns to gold. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what it is, you can take the most boringest thing and a white man to see how you're doing it and make money off of it. Oh, yeah. Next thing you know, you're a commodity.
That's why the scriptures say Israel is the salt of the earth.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean? And it's heavy because we are the salt of the earth. And imagine if the Lord was actually with us. We doing all this stuff without the Lord. You know what I mean? Right. We the best. I mean, obviously the Lord has given us the talents that we have. But like, imagine if we was really keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments in this one body of Christ. Man, it would be no limit to the stuff that we would accomplish. You know?
Yeah, right.
Go ahead.
And his master saw that the Lord was with him. What
do you mean?
Like when it says that the master saw that the Lord was with him, like that's us. The white man knows that the Lord is with us. The white man knows that the Lord is with the I.S.U.P.K.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why, you know what I'm saying, like all these things that's going on and taking place in the news, and they're trying to figure out ways to stop, and they trying to put all black people in the boat. You know what I'm saying? All black people, they want all black people to suffer. But the main reason they're trying to do it and show social media down and all that is because of the I.S.U.P.K. Because they know that the Lord is with the I.S.U.P.K. And they know that we out here waking up Israel, blacks, Hispanic, Native Indians. Like they doing them, they crunching the numbers and they see them. And you know what I'm saying? They're like, man, niggas ain't as sleep as they used to be.
Nah, it's definitely everything that you brought that out because the white man does know that the Most High is with us. And if you don't know, let him try this. Like I sit around and I listen to what happened during the court case when they tried to say that we were no longer allowed to go out on the street. Like, that's crazy to me. That whole story, I forget who brought it out. I think it was either General YAHANNA or Commander General YAHANNA. But that whole story is heavy how, like, none of these other Israelites could even go out and speak on the streets if it wasn't for the Israelite school university.
Yeah, right.
Like, we actually went to court, battled corporations, and won. That's crazy. Just some niggas from the ghetto, you know what I mean? Niggas from the ghetto actually went against major corporations and won for the right to speak out on the street.
Right.
And the white man do know that the Most High is with us. And if you don't know, you better not try because you're gonna find out. You understand?
Yeah, right.
He gonna find out real quick that the Most High is with us. And we speaking the truth. We're not out there saying, we're not out there saying stuff that ain't true. Right. The white man does actually have 2 million, 2 million blacks locked up in prison.
Yeah, right.
The white man actually does put abortion clinics in black neighborhoods.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? The white man actually does push doctrine through news media and describes black people as beasts. You know what I mean? And paints pictures of us that we're criminals. Like the government said it. His own government said it. So, like I said, I forget who it was, but they were saying at that time they had 2 enemies. What was it? the hippies and the black people, or something like that. Like we were actually enemies of the country. The U.S. government said it. And they pumped drugs into our neighborhood. We're not saying lies. We ain't saying nothing that's true. Everything that we're saying is factual and can be researched. We know that they funded wars through the crack epidemic.
Right.
We know that. So, you know, if the white man is mad that we're saying it, I mean, he can be mad, but we're not lying about it. You know?
White man, the devil, the Bible speaks.
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
Okay. And that the Lord made all that he did prosperous in his hands.
That's heavy right there. Even when he was a slave, his master saw him, was like, man, this cat, the Lord is with this cat. You understand? The Most High is with this cat because everything that he touched, like, is prosperous.
Turns to good.
Go ahead.
Okay. And Joseph found grace in his son, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house.
So Joseph was promoted. The cat Potiphar said that this cat, you know what I'm saying, everything he touched, he prospered. I'm gonna make him overseer over my house. So you gotta, you know, you go from, you know what I mean, just being a slave who was brought into Egypt and he was given, and he probably had the most minuscule jobs and had tough labor and all that, you know, didn't get a lot of breaks or whatever the scenario was, went from that to being overseer over his house.
Right.
Go ahead.
And the most important thing to take out of the story is that Joseph was still a man of the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He went like the Christian pastor, get a little power, get a little promotion, and all of a sudden he turned against his own people. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden he's out for vengeance, or he's out just to get the most out of the situation. He was still serving the Lord.
And if I could add to that, and we haven't made it all the way through the story yet, but just because you're going through something hard don't mean that you should give up.
Yeah, right.
It's like, you know, just talking to so many different brothers, you know what I mean? I see sisters, you know, sometimes posting something on Facebook, they ain't went to school. If you're in the school, the most important thing you can do when you're going through something is get counsel.
Yeah,
Be around brothers, be around sisters who, you know what I'm saying, who going to point you in the right direction to get counsel. That's what you need. You can't go through tough times by yourself if you're not strong in the spirit.
Yeah,
A lot of brothers who are more seasoned, they can go through tough times. You know what I mean? But it's always good to be around brothers and sisters who are going to strengthen you. That's why this brotherhood and sisterhood is so important in U.P.K. Get strength, get counsel, come around with brothers and sisters. If you're a brother, don't hide when we're going through something. Go to camp. Don't miss a camp. Go to class. Don't miss class. Call your captain. Call the officer above you. Call whoever. You know what I mean? You got to. Sometimes you just ain't strong enough by yourself, but your brothers are there to strengthen you. So,
and if I would, like it's an old saying, many hands make light work. That burden that you're carrying around, the problems that you got, pass that on to your brothers, man. That's what we're here for, man. To help lighten that burden any way we can, to help lighten that load any way we can. That's how you build a ministry. That's how you stay strong in this brotherhood. That's all.
Now I got to get a scripture. I was trying not to get too many different scriptures, but since you said that, I got to get this. Get a Ecclesiastes 4 and 9. Ecclesiastes 4 and 9. I was trying to not veer off too much, but I got it better than one. What is that scripture saying?
I mean, it's exactly what it's saying. That two is better than one.
He said it don't need to be broken down.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, would you rather have $1 million or two? You know what I'm saying? You going through something, it's better than you and me going through it together than you going through it by yourself.
Right.
Keep going.
Because they have good reward for
their labor. Like it's better, you know what I'm saying? If I'm working by myself, I'm gonna get a reward. Right. Me and you working, we both getting a reward.
Yeah, right.
Go ahead.
Okay. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow.
So listen, if you fall, I'm gonna lift you up. You understand?
Yeah,
read that part again. That's so heavy.
For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow.
One will lift up his fellow. That's what we do in the U.P.K.
Damn right. Damn right.
In the U.P.K. we do that. You fall, I'm gonna lift you up, brother. You understand? And then he suckered that and left because they've been wounded. You know what I'm saying? You didn't follow the proper protocols to get your situation resolved. If you had an issue with a brother and you left the school over an issue with a brother, you wasn't here to begin with. You wasn't a brother to begin with because because if you were, you would have followed the protocols. You would have went to counsel with the brother, or you would have went to the brother, like the scriptures say, to him and him alone, and you would have squashed it. And if you couldn't squash it, then you could have went to counsel, and your issue would have been resolved. Now, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Sometimes your resolution don't go in your direction. You understand? Sometimes you are in the wrong. That's what happens. One person's right, one person's wrong. You know what I'm saying? You can't just leave because you didn't get your way, but you're a pouty baby now. That's enough about that, man. Any more on that scripture?
Sure.
Go ahead.
For if he that hath not another to help him up, that's lucky. But woe to him.
But what?
But woe.
But the destruction.
To him that is alone.
That is alone. That's a rough thing, man, to be alone. That's what I don't understand. You know, I'm gonna say this and I'll move on because we get off into something else. I keep trying to go on Joseph's story, but that scripture is so heavy, man. Because read it again.
I'm gonna take it for a
No, just from what?
But woe to him that is alone.
When I hear that scripture, I think about these internet gangsters. These internet Hebrew Israelite gangsters. Man, they so alone, man. They so alone with the YouTube channel with their 10 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? And they just they trying to dog the U.P.K out. They talk bad about us. But they so alone. If you think about it, man, they so alone, yo. They so alone. Like, who they got? They got, they might have a subscriber that tune in, once a month. But they are individuals. They're not in a body. They're not joined together, in the one body of Christ. Like, okay, you in another Israelite group, you know what I'm saying? And I almost damn hold you shed a better light on you or look at you in a brighter light than if you're just an individual. Because to me, that means you're a selfish bastard and you don't want to do no work. You know what I mean? Even though these cats, they in these other groups, they ain't something wrong, but at least they willing, to come together with what they believe. These cats on the internet, boy, which is by themselves on Facebook, they always on our posts. The brother posted something the other day, and some cat jumped on it and was like, brother, you are an individual. You don't give a damn about black people. And it's always these people that speak out against camps. Oh, don't join camps. Don't camps. These camps that. Shut up, you clown. Get off the internet. Get in somebody's class. Stop trying to be such a damn individual and join together with black people. I can't vouch for these other groups. I can only vouch for my brothers in the Israelite school.
That's right.
I can't vouch for nobody else. So of course I'm going to tell you to join the U.P.K. because that's what I believe in. I see these brothers, these other cats. I don't know what they're doing. They might be shooting transsexuals in the face, or blue waffles and all this other nonsense. I can't, I can't vouch for none of that. All I can say is that me and my brothers, we shall serve the Lord. Go ahead, just want to say something.
Camel concept. And what makes it so funny is that, like you were saying, these Lone Ranger individual Israelite people, like the thing is, just like the other fake Israelite groups, you get all your doctrines from one West.
I can't stand them. Like I said,
everything that you're trying to quote is one West.
Listen, I'd rather if I'm going to come in contact with somebody that's not in the U.K., I'd rather they be in a fake Israelite group than somebody who teach by themselves on the internet. I can't stand them cats, yo.
Right.
Them cats is the worst to me. And I may be wrong, I may be looking at it wrong, man, above me might say, no, you don't want to look at it that way. But to me right now, without somebody telling me that, I can't stand those cats. Those cats to me is scum.
Yeah, right.
They like Christian pastors to me. All these other groups is Christians, but them cats, I place them low on my, you know what I'm saying? I view people, I can't stand to see a Negro get up, read the Bible for 6 months, and then all of a sudden he talking bad about Commander Junior High.
Right.
Like that shit to me, let's move on. But anyway, like the scripture said, 2 is better than 1, because if one fall, the other one gonna lift his fellow up, you understand? And that's the whole point about what we're going through, you know what I'm saying? If you're going through something, you get with your brothers, you understand? But let's get back on the story though.
Okay. I was at verse 7.
Verse 4.
Verse 4.
Or actually verse 5.
Verse 5. Okay. And it came to pass, Genesis 39 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in the house and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's
Now,
sake.
who that sound like, Isaiah? Who that sound like?
Say it again, say
Who that sound like?
So the white man.
You sound just like the white man, damn right. If I was, if it was more people, I would say, give him a hand. Listen, America has become the richest nation on the face of the earth because of the Israelites.
That's right.
No other reason. The white man is not so smart that he just designed his land and that it was, you know, the number one world power just off his wit. Hell no. America prospers because of the children of Israel, as did Egypt. They said it right there. Read that part again from verse 5.
And the Lord blessed the Egyptians' house for Joseph's sake.
For Joseph's sake. Go ahead.
And the blessings of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field.
So he became to be prosperous because of Joseph. That's why I said, that's why I love this story so much, because you see a brother that, you know what I'm saying, was damn near about to lose his life. And now, you know, he went into slavery, and now you see him rising through the ranks. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's it. That's what's going to happen to the brothers in the UK. We started off, you know what I'm saying, being drug dealers, being murderers, you know what I'm saying, being whoremongers, you know what I'm saying. Sisters started off, you know, being murderers and aborting a baby and being hoes and, you know what I mean, all this stuff, liars, thieves, all this, you know what I'm saying. But now look at us, we rising in power every day.
Damn right.
Every day we rising in power in the school. And I know these other sucking MCs hate it. You know what I'm saying? They hate it.
Damn right.
They hate it, but it's fine. You can hate it all you want. You're going to have to get with it and get out the way. That's it.
Damn right.
But that's heavy because, you know, Joseph, like Potiphar, his house and his all that he had was basically, you know what I'm saying, raised up because of Joseph. Go ahead.
Okay. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hands, and he knew not how he had saved the bread which he did eat.
Hold on. Read that part again from 6.
Okay. And he left all that he had and Joseph saved the bread which he did eat.
He didn't know what he had because Joseph managed everything. You understand? He just put it all in Joseph's hand and Joseph ran with it. And, you know, that's what you do when you got somebody who you can trust. You got somebody, you know what I mean? It's just like having, you know, you own this and you got somebody that's really on top of it. Like you go on vacation, you kick back. You know what I'm saying? Throw your hands up, put your feet up, and you got this person that's running it. That's how Joseph was. He ran it. You know what I mean? And he ran it well to the point where he didn't even know, Potiphar didn't even know what was going on. He just knew that he had this piece of bread right here and everything else Joseph had under control. You understand? Go ahead.
And Joseph was a goodly person and was well
He
favored.
was well favored. You know what I mean? Amongst all the, I mean, anybody who came across him, he was well favored. You understand? Go ahead.
And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, lie with me.
Kat just sent me a text said the volume is too low on Facebook. Can I bring the camera closer? So what I'm gonna do is don't worry about touching it. I'm gonna get this table a little closer. Matter of fact, see if you could put this a little closer. That way I move closer to the camera. We might have to get it like a little mic for the little iPhone. You know what I mean? But you can pull it all the way.
Sure.
So hopefully that'll be a little louder for Kat. If Kat, Salaki, sir, if you still looking at Facebook, let me know. That's about as close as I can get. Actually, next time what I'll probably do is attach the camera to this table, so it'll be a little closer.
Okay. Verse 8.
We're gonna get the Kat. We're gonna get the perfect setup. You know what I'm saying? It's library. We can't be as loud in the library too because people walking past. But next time we set it up, you know what I mean, with the iPhone a little bit closer.
But he refused and said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master.
So hold on, we skipped some?
Well, I was on seven.
Yeah.
You can read seven again, sir?
No, I missed seven. Go ahead, read seven over.
Okay, seven. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife
Here we go.
cast her eyes onto Joseph.
Here we go. What do that sound like, Isaiah?
That sounds like she's trying to give him some movie.
No, I mean, yeah, exactly that. But I'm saying, what other scenario did you see that in?
That's the white woman.
That's the what? Give him a hand. If there was other people in the room, I say give him a hand. That's exactly what it sounds like. Like, and it's crazy. Okay, if anybody watched the radio show with Commander YAHANNA, he said a lot. He said America is the exact replica of Egypt. So what happened here? Joseph doing his thing. He was a goodly man. You know, I mean, he took care of his business. He was well favored. The Most High was with him, right? He not gonna go first off be with a heathen, and two be with somebody else's wife. You know what I mean? So like, then you look at that scenario, and this is like Commander YAHANNA always say, this is an exact parallel of what happened in America during slavery.
Right.
Like, you got them slaves, big, strong bucks in the field. You know what I mean? And here come this old white wench come and try to, you know, give some of that raggedy tail to brothers, you know what I'm saying, knowing that he might lose his life. All she got to say, and you really, you know, at that point, like, what you gonna do except die? Because she said, yeah, he tried to rape me, or, you know, whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why I like the story of the Maccabees, because them brothers like, we're not eating pork. I'm sure they wouldn't have slept with no white woman either. You're gonna have to kill me, you know what I'm saying, to break these laws.
You died with honor too.
Died with honor. That's such a hardcore death, man. That Maccabees is something else. But this is exact replica, and that's why it's so true. The longer I stay in school, like, I already know the generals know what the hell they talk about anyway. But just like, the more I stay in school, the longer I'm in this body, I just see stuff. And I'm amazed at the things that they say. And like, even though they say it, and a lot of other people get it right away, it might take me a little longer. And like, to hear him say that and say, man, America is exact replica of Egypt. And then you read the story and you say, damn, the white woman did that with slaves, yo.
Right.
The white woman did. How many accounts have you? How many, you know what I'm saying, slave narratives have you read about white women coming on to black slaves? And here's Joseph. You know what I'm saying? Was a slave moving up through the ranks, and now here comes this old raggedy African trying to get him some food. Go ahead.
It's lucky. Like, one of the most famous ones who didn't even involve no sex is the I.S.U.P.K case where that one never said we didn't eat pussy.
Right.
We didn't even want to lie.
That's heavy, Isaiah. That is heavy too. That's a perfect example too. It's like it didn't go as far as her trying to come on. Who knows? Who knows? That white devil was probably interested in him. And here she go, you know, she might have got caught. It's like, he trying to whistle at me. Like, this, the white woman is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
Damn right. Damn right, sir.
Let's go.
Verse 8. But he refused.
He refused to lie with this heathen.
And said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master is is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he had to my hand.
He's saying, listen, don't walk. Oh, that's old English. We're gonna have to look that up. Water, Salaki. See if you can look that up, Isaiah. The water. With, that is to say, mainly, to know. Let's see, there is. Behold, my master is not with me. Know not what is with me in the house. Oh, I got it.
Okay, I was trying to find it.
Yeah. So behold, my master know not what is with me in the house. Go ahead.
Okay. and he hath committed all that he hath to my hand.
Right. So he just repeating, you know what I'm saying, what we read earlier. Like he in charge of everything. You know what I mean?
Right. There is none greater in this house than I.
Mm-hmm.
Neither have he kept back anything from me, but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against?
Right. So he knows, like, and it's heavy too. Right. He said, the master of this house, he don't withhold nothing from me. He gave me everything. I'm in charge of everything. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing good. Ain't no reason. The only thing that he didn't withhold from me is you. And he gonna say, and then read that last part again.
Okay. How can I do this great wickedness and sin against Yahweh?
Like he understands that that's a sin to sleep with another man's woman. You understand? Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 10. And it came to pass, she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not to her, to love by her.
Listen,
To be with
she
her.
cover that, Joseph, ain't she?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Like you in the slave quarters, like some old white wench come, she just, every time you know what I'm saying, you come up to the house.
She will grab on your
Yeah, it's like she grabbing on you, just like she relentless. She spitting game at Joseph. He said she come to him. She spoke to him day by day. That means she was on every day trying to get a piece of her brother. Boy, go ahead.
Verse 11. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the man of the house.
Oh, here we go. She finally caught him by herself. Finally caught him. What, nobody, it just happened to be nobody in the house, you know what I mean? So
Right.
she in the house and it's him and her alone. Go ahead.
And she caught him by his garment.
She caught him by his what?
By his garment.
She actually put her hands on him, you know what I mean? Like that's a wicked, nasty, evil heathen. You know what I mean?
Right. Saying, lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand and fled and got him out.
He had a garment on. She grabbed that garment. He was like, she didn't even let him go. She just had it. He came up out that garment and left. You understand? Said he fled.
And it came to pass when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and was fled forth, that she called unto the man of her house and spoke unto him, saying, See, ye have brought in a Hebrew unto us to mock us.
Here she goes. She flipping the script. All the while, she been chasing him down, trying to give him a piece of that raggedy tail.
Right.
And now she got his garment. So now she actually got something that said, okay, he was in here at least. You know,
Right.
go ahead.
He came into me to lie with me,
Lying.
and I cried out with a loud voice.
Another lie. Go ahead.
And it came to pass when he heard that I lifted up my
Lift it up.
voice. So I lifted up my voice and cried that he left his garment with me and fled, and I got him out.
She's saying that she cried and yelled out when he was trying to lie with her, which
Right.
he was not trying to lie with her, and neither did she cry out. You know what I mean? And neither did he leave his garment. She took his garment really.
Right.
She wouldn't let it go. So she's a lying heathen all the way around.
And she lined up his garment by her until his Lord came home.
Right. So Potiphar not home yet, and so when she said, the scripture say she got that garment just waiting. She can't wait to show it to Potiphar when he come through the door.
Right. And she spoke unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came unto me to mock me.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out.
Right.
And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spoke unto him, saying, After this matter did thy servant to me that is Wrath was kindled, and Joseph's masters took him and put him into the prison.
Right. So look. So read 19 again.
And it came to pass when his master heard the words of his wife.
So Potiphar heard his wife talking, right?
Right. Which she spake unto him, saying, after this matter did the servant to me that has wrath was kindled.
Listen, he's like the servant, you know what I'm saying? The servant said the same. He said, my wrath is now, his wrath was kindled. He was upset. You know what I mean? Wrath meaning anger, kindled, meaning started. Like he grew upset. He grew furious over it. You understand? Go ahead. We're going to get a couple more, and we're going to close it up.
And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound.
Right. So these were the king's prisoners that he was among when he got cast into prison. So Joseph, this is ups and downs, you understand? Joseph went from being highly loved and favored with his father, you know what I mean, to going and checking on his brothers, and they put him into slavery.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was sold to the Egyptians and started off as a slave there, and then he, grew in power and grew in favor to the point where he was second in command in Potiphar's house. Or first, like he was over all of Potiphar's things, essentially, right? And Potiphar was a man of high status himself. So now, after his heathen wife that lied on him, now he's back in prison. You know what I mean? So he's on a roller coaster during these years that he's, he's in captivity in Egypt. Let's see if we can get a couple more verses, then we'll show you that.
Okay. And he was there in the prison, verse 21. But the Lord was with Joseph.
The Lord was what?
Was with Joseph.
So the Lord, what he said earlier in the story, the Lord was with Joseph. Joseph was a man who knew the Most High, and he served the Most High. So much so that he wouldn't sleep where he probably could have got away with sleeping with that heathen if he wanted to. You know what I mean?
Right.
He knew, he said, what? I couldn't do this wickedness, this great wickedness and sin against the Most High.
Right.
Go ahead.
And showed him mercy, and gave him favor in the sight of the keepers of the prison.
So here again, we seeing an example of if you serve the Most High, even when you're going through trials, you understand? Like Joseph, he went through trials. Like he went from living pretty good. He was in charge of all that Potiphar had, which, you know what I'm saying? If he was the captain of the guard, Potiphar was balling, you understand?
Right.
And Egypt was a wealthy nation at the time. So even though he was going through a tough time, the Lord was with him. He served the Most High. He followed the commandments. And they said, read that part again. What happened?
But the Lord was with Joseph.
The Lord was with him and what?
And showed him mercy.
And showed him what?
Mercy.
Go ahead.
And gave him favor in the sights of the keepers of the prison.
Wow. So even there, he found favor in the sight of the, you know what I'm saying, the prison keepers. So
right.
That's heavy, man. Let that be a lesson. Like it's a scripture, I'm paraphrasing to say, the scriptures written aforetime before I learned. You understand?
Yeah, right.
Like we got to go back and read these stories and see how brother was going through such a struggle. Even though he was going through such a struggle, he was cast into prison, but he served the Lord anyway. You understand? And serving the Lord can never steer you wrong. You understand? You come into the UBK, you learn how to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. You're not gonna go wrong. When you go through hard times, the Most High is gonna show favor on you, even though you're going through a trial. Now, if you're sinning, if you're doing something wrong, then hey, that's another story. You keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, and you doing what you're supposed to be doing, meaning you're not smoking weed, you're not sleeping with another man's woman, you're not lying, you're not stealing, none of that, then you know the Most High is going to get you through what you're going through. You understand?
Yeah, right.
And like I said, these scriptures written aforetime, they for our learning. We got to read these stories and learn what we're supposed to do in this captivity. This is a perfect example of what we should be doing through captivity. Serving the Lord and not sinning, you understand? Whether we be in prison, whether we be, you know what I'm saying, and Potiphar's house can be anybody, you know what I'm saying? Potiphar's house can be Kroger.
Right.
You at Kroger, you know what I'm saying? Whatever they got, whatever sin they want you to do, you don't participate in that. You do your job and you serve the Lord, you're going to get favor, you understand? All right, with that, you know what I'm saying, the library about to shut down, I'm gonna have you read the announcements, Isaiah, and then we can close it out. You got that, folks? It's in there, brother, with the announcements. You know what, you might not even be in there, yo. So next time, matter of fact, you had a copy of them, right? Don't worry about it, we'll talk about it in the announcements from class, all right? All right, so, the water, for everybody who tuned in for just a second, you know what I mean? Next time, we're gonna be at 6 o'clock on the dot, I.S.U.P.K Cincinnati, you understand? Get it in. Shout out to all sides out who, you know what I'm saying, joined the class. Shout out to everybody who sent in questions. So with that, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Committed here in YAHANNA since 1969. We're bringing out this truth, you understand? With that, shalom.